Welcome, I'm Mick, an ordinary lad, and this is Sovereign Warriors. Welcome to the Truth Tavern. I'm Mick, and I'm doing a good interview today with a lad again that you did know from a previous video, but I forgot to get him to tell you a little bit about himself, to be honest with you, and he's quite a good lad, to be honest with you, and I'll just get on with it now. How you doing?
Oh, matey.
Good to see you again, Smudge. You alright, mate?
Yes, I'll give you that tenner at the end of the video, mate, for that nice talk.
Yeah, no wrong with that, pal.
No.
But introduce yourself, if you will.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I left school, like everybody else. I left school in the 80s, and I thought I was going to be a footballer. So I played for a team called Notts County. You might have heard for it.
No.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, and they were in the old First Division. I didn't get very far. It was an apprenticeship, and I had there and contract finished, and they said, right, you're not good enough, and off I went. So after that, I joined up in the Navy, and I was trained as a clearance diver, Royal Navy clearance diver, which was bomb disposal. Did that for 6 years.
Bomb disposal?
Yeah, but bomb disposal, anything under the waterline. Did a few, you wouldn't believe how
Don't that magnetise it or something under the waterline, or is that for ears?
You do get magnetic mines. You got the magnetic mines, you got the contact mines, you got acoustic mines, you got pressure mines. Something like you had on land, you had them underwater as well. So lifting that. But from the last war itself, the Second World War, when we thought Hitler was going to invade us, we just got any boat that could carry a mine and then just used to drop them all around our coastline. So pretty much the Dover Strait is cleared from that, but anything else around there, a lot of them are still bouncing about or still there. So you get a lot of fishing vessels pulling them up, and when they get pulled up, we go along there.
Have to sort out.
Yeah, it's a good fishing trip afterwards. Like, just done the fishing, they want to come up. Then did that for 6 years, came out. Did 101 jobs and that. In between that, working at airports, I was a load master for one. I've had my own business, running a pub, doing landscaping. Then I went abroad, did some teaching there, teaching English for a couple of years in the Far East. Came back and then joined the ambulance service there, and I was with the ambulance service then for about 15 years or so as a paramedic. And that's where I am now, as it is really. I'm self-employed now, as a paramedic, but yeah, I'm kind of like semi-retired, so I'm looking at that to finish soon.
Yeah, fair play. That's an interesting life by the sounds of it. Yeah. A bit more interesting than mine, probably. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Fair play to you.
All right, mate. No.
So anyway, let's get down to what we're here to really talk about today, which is the birth certificate.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
So, can you explain how they entrap us into their sort of corporate world?
Yeah.
With the birth certificate.
Yeah,
please.
if you just go back to some what we did last time, when we talked about the corporations, we know that the government, we don't have a sovereign government, it's a corporation. We don't have a justice system, sovereign justice system for the people. It's a corporation for profit. We don't have local councils and such as there, because they're all corporations as such. So we know everything's been corporised and put out there as such, but they need to entrap us into that. So what they've done then is created a thing of the birth certificate, and then that's how they basically worked it in there. So when I says with the being corporations, and we know that they've become corporations because we know that since 1973, as we talked about before with the FCO, it's that 30/1048, which was treason.
Yeah.
So we went in there, and everything then statutes, legislation, and acts post 73 of a null and void because. To legitimise them, you need obviously need a government, a sovereign government, and we need a monarchy.
Queen, king,
such, and
none of them are right. So
no, because it's 73, so you got to and we don't have a sovereign monarchy as such. So all our oaths and that it can't be ratified. So things then can't be legitimised and create statutes and legislations and acts. So our courts aren't legitimised. So with that all being there said and done, they corporised them. So then we incorporate a situation there now, how they then get us to then
Joinder.
take the joinder as such,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
was done through obviously with the birth certificate.
You're saying obviously, but there's people out there don't know what you mean by obviously.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
supposed to be educating them, aren't we? On what do you mean obviously?
yeah. So okay, let's look at the how right from the beginning, so to speak. So when we're born, we're birthed, and obviously I'm not going to use too many of the sayings or words
Yeah.
with a double meaning,
Yeah.
because we use them when this is created through maritime law, because that's what a corporation generally is. When we're in the legal world, we call it maritime law as such, because it's international law, and it's created. So
Law of the sea, isn't
yeah,
it? Not law of the land.
exactly. So
Yeah.
when we birthed, we can spell that birth, birth as we know as a birthing, or we can birth a ship.
Yeah.
So berth.
Yeah.
So we can birth a ship, and they use these kind of like terminologies, as crazy as it sounds, to justify their legal system, how it works, because it's the double wordings of the meanings.
Yeah.
So when the child is born or birthed, and then it gets registered. It's registered pretty much at the hospital, and they're a bit. And so you have your birth certificate is put in there, but your parents give you a name, and because you're created by your parents, a creation. Remember the saying, "He who creates owns."
Yeah.
Could we use that
Yeah.
as we go along?
Yeah.
So because your mother and father created you, the government can't have any hold of that. He who creates owns.
Yeah.
So, and they gave you a name, and that's your name. You've been given to it as a present. So you first, and that's why it's Christ's name,
Yeah.
your Christian name.
Yeah.
It's Christ's name. So that's yours, and the government can't do anything about that either. But what they do, they create a name for you, and that's your surname. And they created a surname many centuries ago, as such, and they classify it, so your serf name, so your slave name, and that. And it used to be, when people used to go away, we used to have a name then. So many names were the same, so they had to create a surname. It used to be pretty much your trade. That's why there's probably
That's like Cooper and
Yeah.
things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, Smiths, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why there's probably a lot of Smiths, because
Yeah.
you have a goldsmith, silversmith, blacksmith,
Yeah.
whatever Smith. So and it was
Fletcher.
Yeah. So it's quite a big umbrella for that. So they create that, but when you do that, they do it capitalised. Well, that's the legal fiction. Then it becomes into the corporate world because it's capitalised, and anything that's capitalised, as we know, it's classed as an acronym. You can't understand it. It's not a word as such. It's not English as such. An acronym is like each letter can spell out a name, like ASAP, as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Those sort of things. So that's what these acronyms are. So once you capitalise name, it comes, but it becomes into the legal world. So we only know what it means as such, but it makes joinder to your Christian name. And because then your family, when they sign this birth certificate, your mother or pretty much father, they class as an informant.
Yeah.
And remember, when you register anything,
You're giving it away.
we're giving it away
Yeah.
unknowingly.
Yeah.
And this is we don't know this. So
Yeah.
and we can look at, like say, with the car. We know when we register, it used to be the registered owner, but they changed that some time ago to the registered keeper. So you're handing over what you think is mine and yours, you're giving it to a government corporation.
But they own it anyway because of that manufacturing.
The MSO.
Because of that.
Yeah.
Because they get that. Whoever's got that actually owns it, apparently.
Well, let's go back to the birth certificate.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
The MSO.
Yeah.
Whoever owns the MSO is the owner, and because it's been created
Yeah.
by the government, we don't own that. And
Yeah.
because the government all of a sudden created that name,
Yeah.
the joined up, which you don't realise is that, so your surname. So they own that name,
Yeah.
but they give it to you. So that name then gets going in. I think one goes to obviously to the government, like London, or to the bank. The other one goes to the Vatican, and then there's another one that goes to the one who creates the register and everything else, like the BSI. The BSI is the Bank in International Securities, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It becomes securitized. It becomes
Yeah.
bonded.
Yeah.
So you have that. Well, once that's been bonded and that, it's like you hear the old saying, like you're worth all weight in gold.
Yeah.
So that creates a trust. Because this birth certificate gets securitized and it has a number on it, and that number then stays with you, and everything that's been created or owned has a number. and that number means it's been corporised, it's a legal entity, it comes as such, and that number stays with you. So you look at your birth certificate, the other number, they call it a QSIP number. I can't remember what a QSIP actually stands for individually, but that's that number there. So that then gets bought, gets given to the Bank of England or whatever, and it's there securitised, and it gets and you get weighed of your purpose of life. And it's an old saying in English, you've been wound, sorted and weighed, you've been weighed up, and that's it, you've been accountable for. So that's where you go, and you look at your family sort of thing. So if you're from an affluent family, you're going to be paying more, you're going to be getting more, earning more, paying more taxes, and that. If you come from a lower set of a family, it's probably a bit less that, but a trust is created. Yeah. So